I'm not sure if there's a character in One Piece that's gone through more design changes than Marco the Phoenix. From black hair, to weird lips, to weird attire, to crazy drip, to glasses. Marco is a chameleon, all right? Okay guys, so Marco is back. Oh, spoiler alert, One Piece chapter 981, Marco is revealed to be back. If you saw the title and the thumbnail and you still clicked on this video and didn't expect to be spoiled, I am sorry for you. But however, Marco is back. Now the reveal, rated out of 10, probably a 7 or an 8, something like that. He did something really high, but I guess I have some questions in regards to why Marco is actually here. And I guess that's the whole purpose of this video. Why is Marco here? And why is it so significant that Marco is back right now? Well, I think because flat out in chapter 909, Marco said he wasn't coming to Wano. Well, I guess he didn't say no, but he implied based on what was going on in Whitebeard's town, or the town that he established, and basically he spent his whole life funneling money through and doing everything to develop this town because of the sentimental value to him. Whitebeard being a product of this environment, he wanted to make something better for the people, and Marco, that's something he wanted to preserve. And of course, Weevil is also out there, so for Marco, protecting that town was paramount. So then why is he here? Why is Marco all of a sudden in Wano with Inu and Izo? And for people that were thinking that person is Bonnie, it's not Bonnie, it's Izo. Okay, let's cut that out. Bonnie may come to Wano, I'm not sure how she would get there, but that person that we see should be Izo. However, Marco is back. There's so many layers to this, right? Because based off what Marco was saying, and the reason why he had to stay in that town or in that country was to more so protect it. And then it goes even back to Blackbeard, because he said Blackbeard invaded and started a payback war. So Blackbeard actually invaded that country, I guess took whatever he wanted or took something. There was a reason why he invaded, and Marco stated because of Blackbeard now having Whitebeard's power, there was nothing they could do. They couldn't overcome Teach. But that goes back to it, right? Where Marco now he feels like he has to defend that country because he failed initially against Blackbeard. And to add to it, that's Whitebeard's treasure. But he still left. But I don't think Marco lied. I think the circumstances has changed. When Nekomamushi went to recruit Marco, the world was a lot different than it is now. A lot of things have transpired ever since that moment. And I think this was the reason why Marco actually came to Wano. Or not one thing, but a string of things. First off, Luffy's not going against just Kaido anymore. He's now going against Big Mom as well. In which Big Mom and Kaido now has the strongest alliance ever, seemingly. And for them, their plan is to take over the world. And for Marco, he should know about this because he mentioned it in the new chapter saying, hey, I guess the alliance was true after all. And what I like about the Yonko as well, it seems like all the crews know about the other crewmates. Whereas they're like, yo, what is Marco doing here? Because Marco, he's a pretty famous guy. He's the right hand of Whitebeard, right? The former right hand of the former captain of the Whitebeard Pirates, the now deceased Whitebeard. So he's a pretty famous guy. But Marco now knows of the alliance. So why does this matter? Why would Marco even involve himself in this battle when he declined initially going to Wano, knowing that Luffy and them, they would face Kaido essentially? But now they're facing Kaido and Big Mom, he's here. Something Marco mentioned, right? About once the Big Mom Pirates get back to the top of the waterfall, the era may be different or things may be changed, where Marco is recognizing and acknowledging that the era is changing, the times are changing. There was actually a chapter about this in One Piece with Whitebeard 572 where it's called The Times They Are Changing. And this chapter was a very powerful chapter for many reasons. Not only because Ace got free, right? And now Luffy and Ace are free. At this point, nothing happens to Ace. We didn't know what was going to happen to Ace. And seeing Luffy and Ace just do whatever they wanted to do with the Marines, it felt like, okay, maybe the next era could be theirs. Maybe these two young pirates could be the leaders of the next generation. There's even dialogue within that chapter in which Ace acknowledges that Luffy has gotten stronger, and Luffy says that he's going to surpass Ace one day. It was something I was absolutely looking forward to. Ace was even clashing with Aokiji and stalemating him. But I think the main point of that chapter and a signal of the times being changed is Whitebeard, and Whitebeard giving his final order, telling the Whitebeard pirates that they need to move on and live in a new world. And at that point, coming into Marineford, Whitebeard was known as the strongest man in the world. This era was known as Whitebeard's. With him passing, it would have to be a new era. And who would be the person to control this era? Of course, in the coming chapters, we figured out exactly who that would be, but there are moments in time in which, you know, things are going to be different forever. And Whitebeard pulling up to Marineford, everyone knew no matter what the outcome, things would be different forever. But not until chapter 572 was it crystal clear that Whitebeard definitely was not leaving Marineford and that there was essentially no going back. So for Marco, he's adopted that. He's been with Whitebeard for decades, so of course he would take on some of his values. So for Marco, in a way, he's continuing the era or the ways of Whitebeard, following in Whitebeard's footsteps, in which I think Marco wants to be an aid for the new era. But it's more significant now because with Kaido and Big Mom, no matter what happens in Wano, things are going to be different. And for Marco believing in Luffy, I think at this point he feels like if Big Mom and Kaido falls, that could be the first step or the first domino to create that actual utopia utopia that Whitebeard was aiming for. So personally, I think that has a major role to play as to why Marco is in Wano right now. Another major thing that happened, the Warlord System has been abolished. What does this mean? Well, one of the things Marco mentioned while Nekomamushi was talking to him, trying to recruit him, was Weevil. And that was probably the main reason why Marco didn't want to leave, was the suspicion of Weevil probably coming to the island, looking for Marco, or looking for people, looking for an inheritance, and getting, well, hey, there's nothing there. So for Marco, he felt like he had to stay there to protect that town, protect that country in Whitebeard's stead. With the Warlord System abolished, did Marco get some intel on Weevil's whereabouts? I'm sure Marco knows that Weevil is being hunted by the world government. Is he saying because it would be harder for Weevil to move around now, knowing that he's no longer a warlord, I guess it's more room to operate for him, and that's why he's leaving to go to Wano? We don't know the specifics, but I'm sure the Warlord System being abolished and also Big Mom and Kaido allying is the main reasons for Marco now deciding to join Luffy. Even before that, he was going to deliver a message to Luffy. I'm sure Oda's going to go back next chapter and show us exactly what happened, like what transpired after that moment, after he said, deliver a message to Luffy for me. But this is really big news. Marco, the right hand of Whitebeard, is in Wano to aid the Straw Hat Pirates in their alliance. But also with Weevil's storyline, I think this pretty much guarantees that Weevil is coming to Wano. I don't know what else Oda would do with Weevil after introducing Weevil looking for the Whitebeard Pirates, specifically Marco and those guys. What else would you do with him? Do you wait for him and Marco to have their thing after Wano? That wouldn't make much sense if everybody's right there. It would make a ton of sense for the war. Weevil is currently running from the Marines. Wouldn't it be dope if Weevil running from the Marines comes to Wano and they follow him there? We've been saying for the longest that the Marines have to show up in Wano for this war to be exactly what we expect it to, or even to surpass our expectations. If Weevil is the reason why they follow him to Wano, that would be really cool. But of course, we would have to go back to Akainu and Kizaru in that entire conversation where Akainu was not sure about the samurai and all that. There would have to be a reason for them to say, we don't care, we're going in Wano, even though we don't know that much. But au contraire, X-Drake is also in Wano. Maybe X-Drake funnels some information, they know enough, a war is going down, they pull up to take advantage of it. Just something to consider. Marco adds a lot more than just strength because, of course, he's a right-hand commander. Honestly, I'm actually surprised how many people have him as the strongest commander, because for the longest while it was Ben Beckman, but recently a lot more people have been coming around to Marco, which I like because Marco has been underrated for a long time. But outside of strength, Marco brings a shit ton of experience to this war. Let's not forget, Marco has been in 2 wars that we know of. If we go all the way back to Whitebeard versus Roger, he's seen the best of the best go at it, and he's been a pirate for a very long time, so he can provide not only insight, but key leadership in moments that they would need it. So for Marco being in Wano, this is really a big deal. We can talk about Wano matchups at some point, but I think Marco is going to be a lot more offensive than he was in Marineford, because at Marineford, the role he was playing was basically support. Like he was filling in the gaps wherever they needed it because they were on the back foot the entire war. They were at a disadvantage. They were on enemy's territory. So for Marco now, yes, the same rules apply, but I don't think it's going to be on Marco to fight the strongest combatants. I think that's going to be reserved for the worst generation because, again, Marco knows and Marco acknowledges that the era is changing, the times are changing. So for him, he knows this isn't a moment for me to shine and to flex my wings. Right now, I'm here to support Monkey D. Luffy as I told Whitebeard I would, and of course to carry on the will of Ace. At some point this week, I'll talk about how strong Marco is because I have some thoughts about who I think Marco should fight and Marco's entire role in Wano. However, you cannot downplay the significance of someone with his experience and his strength currently in Wano. I really hope next chapter we go back to what happened and we see the full conversation as far as like what transpired after Marco found out all this information and what led him to change his mind. What made him comfortable enough to come to Wano now? Is there someone else watching guard? That's why he was okay to leave. Are the other Whitebeard pirates currently in Wano? That's something that I'm really excited for. I really want Vista to be in Wano as well. I think it would make a lot of sense for him to be there. He's a swordsman. He was in Wano before. He was kind of like Whitebeard's strongest guy after Odin. And I think the Whitebeard pirates, they need some redemption. So that would be awesome if that actually happened. This is great though. I'm really happy Marco decided to come. I mean, it's something I've been speculating for a long time. Seeing Marco with the post-time skip mechanics should be amazing. People were speculating Marco could have future sight or maybe advanced armament. We'll see what Oda gives him because I think Marco is going to be absolutely broken when we see him fight again. But guys, give me your thoughts. What do you think about Marco being in Wano right now? Why do you think he left? And what do you think he adds to this alliance? And just how do you feel about Marco overall? Give me your thoughts, guys. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at bragody.ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.